Stop your stuff.
All right, good morning. Happy Thursday. All right, I just want to apologize for messing this problem up the other day, and I want to continue with it. What was happening was I was looking at this as a fact, 9.8 miles per hour, which doesn't even go with the problem. So this is 9.8 times m times h, which is the height. So you guys probably knew that, but couldn't figure out what was going on. So I wrote down all the information that they gave. They gave these formulas K and U, and they wanted you to find the sum. So what I did with you the other day is we found K, and this is K, and now we want to find U. So U is 9.8 times the mass times the height, which is negative 4.9 t squared plus 24t plus 60. Okay, so what I would do is I would multiply these two numbers first. So 9.8 times 2 is, what is it, 19.6? Can you guys verify that? 9.8 times 2?
Yeah, you're right.
Thanks. Okay, then we're going to distribute that 19.6 to each one with the calculator. So the first one's going to be negative something. So what's 19.6 times 4.9? What'd you guys get?
I got the same thing as you.
Okay.
Yeah, me too.
And then a positive times a positive is a positive. What's 19.6 times 24?
I got the same thing.
Okay. And then a positive times a positive is 19.6 times 60 is 1176. So what happens here is when you add K plus U, you get K, which is 96.04 t squared minus 470.4 t plus 576, and add that to U, which is negative 96.04 t squared plus 470.4 t plus 1176. And notice I stacked it because of all those decimals. And I noticed that these guys just straight out cancel because those are true opposites. And so the sum of K plus U is 1,752, which is a constant. So this problem said, find that, but then what does the expression, what does that constant tell you about the energy of the falling object? So remember, K is the kinetic energy and U is the potential energy. So since the sum is a constant, this means that the energy of the object is constant, and that as it gives kinetic energy by falling, it loses the same amount of potential energy. So that's pretty interesting how it turned out. So once again, as it gives kinetic energy by falling, it loses the same amount of potential energy. Okay, so I made it through the problem that time. So sorry about that. Okay, so yesterday I really liked what we were doing in the teams, but we kind of got cut off. And so I'm going to allow you once again to work in the teams. You're going to work on the review for lesson 6.2 test. And if you notice the review, I included practice A-B because of the parts of the assignment that I cut out. So before we do that, though, I want to talk about some of the things that I saw yesterday that were not big problems, just little issues. Okay. So first of all, you can only FOIL with two binomials. So don't call anything else FOILing. So if you have a monomial times a trinomial, that is distributing. If you have a binomial times a trinomial, that is also distributing. So only the multiplication of two binomials is called a FOIL because F means first, O means outer, I means inner, and L means last. And that's the only way you can get the word FOIL, the mnemonic device. Now, I mentioned yesterday that you had a volume problem, and we know that volume is equal to length times width times height. I'm just making this up because I don't remember the numbers. Okay, so I'm just making this up. Let's say it was x plus 2 times x plus 5 times the height, which was x. You do not want to leave the problem like that. Okay? You always want to put the smaller term in front. So because multiplication is commutative, we can move the factors around. So the way you want to work it is like this. And what you want to do is FOIL first. So when you FOIL this, you would get first, outer, inner would be 7x plus 10. And then you distribute. So it's always confusing when students leave the problems like this. You always want to move the monomial in front of the trinomial or the binomial in front of the trinomial. So now the final answer for the volume in terms of x would be x cubed plus 7x squared plus 10x on this problem that I just made up. Now, remember that you want to write your answer in standard form so you can see that it's a cubic trinomial. Remember when you're multiplying, the variables change. So remember the rule, when you multiply terms, you add the exponents. And you've heard me say when you multiply monomials with the same base, you add the exponents, right? When you're adding and subtracting, you do not change the variable. So for example, if you had something like 2x squared y minus 7x squared y, those are like terms. So the answer would be a negative x squared y. Do not change the variable when you're adding and subtracting. Okay, also, you had a problem that had like x cubed in it plus 5x squared y plus 7xy squared plus 5y cubed. Okay, when you have x's and y's, the order doesn't matter. There is no standard form. But normally a plain x cubed will go in the front and a plain y cubed would go at the end. But there is no standard form. Okay, so that's pretty much what I want to clear up. Do you guys want to ask me any questions about anything you're wondering about? This is some of the stuff I saw when we were working in the teams. So not only do you like working in the teams, which I'm going to change pretty soon, but I like visiting the teams because it helps me to see things that I have either not taught well or things that I need to clear up, misunderstandings from something that I said. So it benefits me also to be better. So would you guys like me to work another problem, or anybody have anything right now?
I think we're good.
Okay. Well, I have not posted the review yet, but as soon as we leave, I'm going to post the review. So you will see the review of lesson 6.2. You will see that as soon as we leave the class. So I will post it. It's 1:01 right now, and class is over at 2:10. So what I like to do is report back at 2 o'clock to see if there's any issues. So you're going to work in your Math Wizard teams. What I would like you to do is you're going to work on the review. I'm going to post it right now, and then we'll be back at 2 o'clock for any questions. Okay, all right, so I'll see you later, and I'll post that in Classroom right now. Okay, did you guys make it back?
Yeah.
Okay, let me make some recommendations. This is 2B on the actual review. Notice how I wrote the trinomials side by side. And this is what I recommend when you have just regular terms. So you would distribute the x squared to the cubic trinomial. You would distribute the negative 3x to the cubic trinomial, and you would distribute the 1 to the cubic trinomial. And what you're seeing me do is you're seeing me line up like terms. So this negative 6x to the 4th was off by himself. So everybody was off by himself except for these two, those two, and those two. And it's easy to see how to add. So in standard form, it would be negative 6x to the 4th plus 2x to the 5th minus x cubed plus 13x squared. Negative and a negative is a negative, and you add plus 4. However, when you're doing a problem like 3B, I don't know if you guys can see this, but I put my key in Google Classroom. Can you guys see 3B? Can you see this problem right here?
Yes.
Okay, do you see how I stacked this problem?
Yeah.
I recommend when you have decimals that you stack the problem, because if you don't, it's really hard to see where the decimal is. Okay, so I recommend with these word problems with the decimals, you should stack it rather than writing it side by side like I did on the board. It's really confusing with the decimals if you write it like this. It's confusing. And it's really easy to make an error. All right. Would anyone like me to work a problem? Or do you guys have questions about something?
You mentioned there's going to be a quiz next week?
On Tuesday morning.
Oh, okay. And which one is it on? I don't think I was in class when you said which test it's going to be.
6162.
Ms. Birch, can you work 3B?
I really don't want to, because it's gonna take longer than the time we're in class. So, I wrote out the problem in the key in Google Classroom and you should be able to follow it. So can you do me a favor and look at my key and see if you can follow it? And I'll be happy to do it some other time if you can't follow it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. I wanted to talk about something like this. When they tell you, I just made this up. Okay, when they tell you to expand, they mean for you to write it out. So this looked like a harmless problem, but it's not. So what I recommend that you do is FOIL the first two and FOIL the second two and watch what happens. First, outer, inner, last. So that's a quadratic trinomial. And this is the same thing. And so what you're doing is you're multiplying two quadratic trinomials. So this guy times these would be x to the fourth minus 2x cubed plus x squared. This would be negative 2x squared plus, sorry, that's all right. Let's try this again. Negative 2x cubed plus 4x squared minus 2x. This would be x squared minus, so see how there's kind of a method when you put them in standard form and multiply? So your answer would be x to the fourth. A negative and a negative is a negative and you add, don't change the variable. These are all positives. 4 plus 1 is 6. X squared, a negative and a negative is a negative, and you add plus 1. So this problem would be a big mess if these trinomials were not in standard form. But because they're in standard form, the powers go 4, 3, 2, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 0. And they line up nicely. So this is what they mean when they say expand. Okay, would you guys like me to work a problem or do you have any questions?
I think we're all good right now.
I think we're good. It was fairly easy.
Okay. Yeah, it's just some of it's tedious. Okay, so it's 2:06. Class ends at 2:10. I'm gonna let you guys go. I hope you guys have a good day. And do you guys have something due? You don't have anything due tonight, or do you? Oh, you have 6.2 due
6.2.
tonight? Yeah, 6.2. And the review that you did today is due on Monday night. Okay, have a great day, okay? Have a good day. I'll talk with you soon.
Bye, Miss Birch.
Okay, bye, guys. Good job today. Good job.
Bye, Miss Birch.
Bye, Daniela. Have a good day.